Each year, on the 25th and 26th of December, the community of Gales Point Manatee celebrates Christmas with a festive tradition known as the Christmas Bram. On these days, the village comes alive with the songs of brokdong music, accompanied by the rhythms of Kriol drums and other traditional instruments. Along with the music, the villagers, accompanied by friends and relatives who have returned home, dance and sing as they move from house to commemorate the Bram. The history of Bram can be traced back to the early 1700s, when enslaved Africans were brought to extract logwood, mahogany, cedar, and other timber from Belize's forests. This often resulted in men being away from their families for most of the year. Over time, the Christmas season therefore served as the greatest opportunity for communal recreation.
Early accounts of celebrations similar to the Christmas Bram have been recorded in the 1826 Honduras Gazette and Commercial Advertiser. Almost all the slaves in this community, during the whole of the holidays, neither labor nor are called upon to do any labor whatever, but on the contrary, parade the streets during the day in large parties preceded by music and flags. In their progress, they walk in a body, sans ceremony, into the halls of all merchants or respectable persons' houses and commence dancing and singing.
Bram, as these festivities came to be known, reunited family and friends through music, dancing, and feasting. Bram was once widely celebrated in Belize Town, now Belize City, and villages along the Belize River Valley. Today it has survived in only a few communities. The village of Gales Point Manatee has remained one of the best places to travel to experience Bram. Located on the stretch of the peninsula on the southern lagoon, Gales Point was established as a maroon settlement by enslaved Africans who, in their quest for freedom, resorted to running away or revolting against the slave owners. The relative isolation of Gales Point has contributed to the continuity of traditions such as the Bram, which combine the Christmas tradition with African music and dance. In Manatee, as Gales Point is locally known, villagers gather at the northern end of the peninsula around mid-afternoon on Christmas Day. Friends and family, young and old, and even visitors join in the Bram, which continues into the evening.
Well, when we come in for days in Christmas time, we meet with all African people, right? Mm-hmm. And with this Brahmin. Mm-hmm. So when they get up, then start the Brahmin. And when they start the Brahmin, right? Then start the Brahmin from house to house go down. See? And they start to sing all different kind of these things. But they start the Brahmin from house to house go down.
So when we talk about the Bram, we talk about a unifying celebration. People coming together to express themselves in music and dance. But even before that, the musicians kind of get together and they know what it is, what instruments they're going to use. And so when they go to the first house, they're ready to play. And people are following them at that point. And from one house, they go to the next house. And by the time they get to the end of the village, there's a whole line of people following them.
Music and dance is central to Bram. Today, the gumbe and the sambai drums are the main instruments used to create the music.
This is a gumbe drum. This drum was mostly played, was always played by the Kriol people. And this is a drum that is also disappearing. It was played in Monkey River and mostly in the River Valley. In Gales Point, we didn't have the gumbe drum. This was mostly played in Monkey River and inside the River Valley, and even here in Punta Gorda. So this is also a new adaptation to the Kriol in Gales Point, because we mostly play the sambai drum.
The use of the gombe in Belize is recorded as far back as the 1700s. These instruments can be traced to the period of slavery when our African ancestors proudly celebrated their cultural identities. However, by 1796, colonial authorities considered the use of the gombe as a public nuisance, and by 1808, the public meeting passed an order to prevent public celebrations and in particular to stop all gombes and plays.
Despite such attempts to suppress African culture, the use of gombe survived.
Wine, 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 wine is a dunga. Wine is a dunga. Wine is a dunga.
Other African drums such as the djembe, dundun, and kinkine have been integrated into the celebration over the years. Efforts are currently being made to transmit the traditional knowledge of making and playing these drums to the younger generations.
First two things one must know when they play the drum. The first one is concentration. And the second one, and above all, is relaxation.
Organizations such as the National Institute of Culture and History, National Kriol Council of Belize, as well as groups like Drums Not Guns and the Maroon Kriol Drum School have implemented Kriol drumming workshops. The brokdong is a prominent musical genre heard during the celebration and is created using a variety of household items and other instruments such as the accordion.
The musical instruments that they used to use in the first instant of the Bram, they used to use things out of the house. I remember as a child, they take the comb and they put like a little silver paper on it and they blow it, and the silver paper they got out a chewing gum, right? And they blow that and like music. They used to have the grater and you get one fork and you rub that together. That make music. Some people have 2 pieces of stick and then they knock it together, right? Who no got stick? Some of them got bucket, you know. Later on they had a bucket where they beat on the bucket, and there's so many different things.
And after when the Brahmin done also, the wee small one, the other parent they we take our home and we start with the Bram, right too. And so Mr. Martin have a little or door it, heel and there until it get dry. Roll it on over, heel and there until it get dry. And we're going to the street and the sing man and then dance now.
Bram music, like you could feel everything in all part of your body, from your head to your toe. Because when they start to beat that drum, and when they start to go with the instruments, then the grater and the fork and everything, you could just feel it. And when we did Bram, your Bram and everything move. Your hands are up in the air, you're stomping your feet. It's a stomping rhythm, right? And the whole body they gyrate, and nobody knows they think nothing negative about the way you move your body. You are just dancing to the beat of the music.
Iwala fi Wandala.
14 days.
Step City Iwala.
14 days.
Iwala fi Wandala.
14 days.
Step City Iwala.
14 days.
Bram's songs feature a call and response pattern typical of African tradition. They address community issues, economic situations, and occurrences in family and personal relationships. The lyrics are in double speak and often include subtle innuendos.
You have all kinds of different songs for the Bram. Many songs for the Bram that, like you said, they are like coded, you know, get the real meaning. And why is that? Why do they sing out really the way the song really is, the real meaning? Because they are children. Children used to stand up one side and they watch what is going on, and they go into their own groups and they dance, and then they come back and they watch what we are doing, right? And the songs, like I said, that are coded are so that children don't grasp the meaning because they are young. There's that respect for adults and children way back then, you know, say that to the day, right?
Bram is a time when the community affirms their cultural identity and social ties. Food and drinks are shared to everyone while the villagers celebrate from house to house.
You know, food was one big part of this whole celebration, you know, with the Bram. Before my time, when the people go to each house, they have big dinner for them, right? But then what they used to go and they get the game meat and all of that, and that's the game meat. They would serve the game meat with the rice and beans and all of that. The next generation now, they had ham and turkey and all of that, right? And they would serve that. In my generation, as a small child, when we go to the house, they give me light cake, what we call light cake. Really, I think it's light cake. But you know how Kriol go. Light cake and lemonade, right? And the men and the women that were dancing, of course, all of the nice local wines, like the cashew wine, the berry wine, spotty, the potato wine. I know that's not easy. Your rice wine. You know, back then you hardly had any rum. If you do have rum, it was just a little.
By the end of the Christmas day, almost the entire village has joined in on the celebration, either as participants or as spectators. The celebrations continue into the Christmas night with the jumping of sambai. This is a traditional fertility dance of West African origin. In the past, it was performed only on full moon nights, but has now become one of the iconic features of the Christmas Bram.
Sambai da mochula, eh boy, sambai da mochula, eh boy da mochula, sambai da mochula, ah mochula, sambai da mochula, eh boy da mochula, sambai da mochula, ah mochula, sambai da mochula, eh boy da mochula, sambai da mochula, ah mochula, sambai da mochula.
Right? And John someone sing on the drum on the road. Right? And when they drum on the roll, you got the sakuna, you got the kota. Right? And when you start to sing the sambai, everybody they sing the sambai song. And when you sing the sambai song, I want this one and jump out in the ring and jump out first and start to dance the sambai, then you do the sambai.
Okay.
Right? And then we still continue upon the song. And when they start drawing the song, jump from somebody else and then you do somebody else's sambai. And somebody else on the king of the ring and jump the sambai. Right?
Sambai is also performed on occasions such as wakes and marriages or when requested. The fire is a central feature of the sambai and symbolizes female fertility. In a public show of virility, the men are encouraged to jump over the fire without causing harm to themselves. Shortly after midnight, the villagers head home to take a rest for Brahmin on Boxing Day. This time, the revelers gather at the south end of the community on a street known as Freedom Street. From there, they gradually bram their way back towards the center of the village. The music and dance continues well into the last night of Christmas Bram.
At the end of 2 days of Bramming, the villagers must now await December of next year, when the Christmas Bram will once again be relived.